interesting part about this, and let me start pulling up some faces that y'all can understand what I'm talking about. Earl Glanville is this guy, right? He's this guy. Now, the interesting thing about that is that he's the chief judge in the courtroom for Fulton County. So basically, he's the highest judge in that county court, one with the most experience, most decorated, and he's the chief judge supposedly. Now, I don't know if he's on his way out or whatever, but this particular case with YSL, he definitely was frustrated a bit, and he was trying to stand on some business. Now, here's the thing. When they filed a motion for recusal, they wanted him to recuse himself. They said no, so they appealed it to for an appellate court to make the decision. Now, the judge that was going to rule on that is the judge Rachel Crouse. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. This judge is actually, Rachel Crouse, is actually not really a subordinate, but works in the same courthouse as the person she was asked to make a judgment against. And people are like, well, you're not going to rule against, it's like a cop having to rule against his lieutenant. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to do that, right? So people thought, hey, listen, you're going to be biased, so really you should recuse yourself as well. So they didn't want this judge to even make the ruling. They wanted to move it to another a superior court judge from another county, like maybe Cobb County or something like that. Another reason they brought up, they said, why would this judge rule to recuse Judge Glanville when Glanville was running? Because, these, superior court judges, these are elected officials, okay? So the judges, some judges are elected, some are appointed. Apparently, when they ran, this judge here that has to rule whether in favor of them or against them, donated to them. Now, that becomes a whole long convoluted process, and I'll play a video after this so you could probably get some context to it. Essentially, the law in Georgia said that not because they donated to that previous judge means that they're going to be biased, and if it was a legal donation, they don't have to recuse themselves, because basically it was supposedly said it was a conflict of interest. Some of y'all are probably saying, what the fuck you're talking about? For the people following the case, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo that I want you guys to get, kind of get up to speed with, but it's hard because it's just so much bullshit, right? Let me once again explain it in simple terms. Now, why are we here, right? So, essentially, Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, right, which is this guy, the white guy, Brian Steele, made a motion for not only a mistrial, because the mistrial basically saying this trial is just, not going nowhere. We should just pretty much cancel the trial. The motion for mistrial was basically made because this judge had a secret meeting with YSL Woody, Little Woody, this nigga right here who's doing 20v1s. Apparently, this dude was told, he was briefed before that, yo, you got full immunity and you need to testify, because apparently he had gotten a lawyer, and the lawyer was just like, well, he used to really rock with these guys heavily, and maybe perhaps some of the things he testifies to will actually be used against him, so he's probably going to be pleading the fifth, and they're like, yo, we'll just give you immunity, right? Now, this was probably a ploy from Woody to not fully snitch, even though, in my opinion, I think he already snitched. Like, you can't half snitch. Like, I told him some stuff, but I just won't testify and tell him the rest of the stuff. Come on now. Anyway, this judge had a secret meeting with Woody and the prosecutor, and basically told Woody, if you don't testify against Young Thug, we're putting you in jail, right? You need to testify against Young Thug. I guess Woody's lawyer told Young Thug's lawyer, and Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, brought it up in court. The judge got mad, threatened to jail Brian Steele, and also basically kind of denied what that was. Now they released a transcript supposedly of whatever, but the fundamental question actually lied on, hey, if y'all had this ex parte, that what they keep talking about, an ex parte, I don't want to drown y'all with legal terminology. Ex parte just means without a party. So there's three parties that are in the court system, right? You have the judge, the defense, and the prosecutor. So if any two of those have any official communication, right, within the confines of the court, right, within the courthouse, for the most part, it's going to be considered ex parte. So if the judge talks to the prosecutor without the presence of the defense, is ex parte. If the judge talks to the defense without vice versa. You get what I'm saying? Now, the whole point that this guy, which is Euro Glanville, he was saying, yeah, I did talk to Woody and Woody's attorney, which is a witness, while the prosecutor was present, right? Which means ex parte, right? Because it's missing a piece, which is the defense attorney. So Young Thug's lawyer wasn't there. But the reason why y'all weren't there is because we were discussing issues that y'all got nothing to do with. What issues? The judge was claiming that, he was backing up what the prosecutor was mentioning, that the prosecutor was saying that you could be held in contempt, which means we could jail you if you don't testify against Young Thug, and also your other issues might get fucked up if you get held in contempt. You get what I'm saying? And that was supposedly the nature of the ex parte meeting, except like Lil Woody said allegedly some stupid shit like, why would I testify or blame somebody for a crime that I know I did? And there was this whole thing supposedly that he admitted to a murder. We haven't really seen proof of that. But regardless, Brian Steele came into court, which is Young Thug's lawyer, and said, yo, if y'all had a secret meeting, from what we heard, y'all were pressuring that man to testify. Again, if he don't want to testify, you could jail him, but you shouldn't be able to pressure him to get on the stand that you could carry on with the case. And essentially, that's one of the things that they wanted a mistrial on. The judge basically said no to the mistrial, threatened to lock this guy up. They appealed and submission motions to recuse the judge. Glanville actually sent the motion up to another judge, and finally, this is where we are with this. Okay, it says, defendant Diamante Kendrick's motion to recuse Chief Glanville is granted. Caleb Bumpus, which was Woody's lawyer, or one of them, motion to squash the show cause order and recuse Judge Glanville is denied as moot, basically saying Judge Glanville has already been recused based on this motion, so no need to rule on this motion because it's already satisfied. So defendant Jeffrey Williams, which is Young Thug, motion to disqualify/recuse Glanville from all further dealings in the above referenced case as amended and supplemented is granted. So this judge will pretty much never be seen back in court with Thug. Okay? It says the clerk of the court shall reassign this case using the court's case assignment procedure. And basically what that meant is that the original judge is no longer in the case. Now, before, I don't want to get too much into the woods with this. And again, I got a video for me to play that's going to explain it to you. Now, remember some of the grim or dark, predictions I had about this whole case. It's definitely lightened with this. Like, for example, remember I said they keep filing for a mistrial, but when they're filing for a mistrial, if you feel the judge is corrupt, the judge is the one ruling on the mistrial. So you're not going to get anywhere. Here's the thing. That judge is off. The next time they file for a mistrial, this new judge is going to be taken to it. And by the way, they don't have any skin in the game. One of the reasons I felt that Glanville never really said anything is because he had too much skin in the game because he'd been working this case for 2 years. He's been the judge for 2 years, so he's a little bit irritable. He's a bit this, he's a bit that. So again, with the new judge, you got no skin in the game. There's no ego to be hurt. When they bring up motions, which I imagine they would, to dismiss the case or for a mistrial, he might consider it and actually grant it. Okay. All right. Let me play this.
Maya knows how quality care can bring out a...
Again, I'm sorry for all the ads.
Welcome back to Law and Crime. This just in for Young Thug racketeering case. We have got a decision by a judge outside of that of Judge Glanville that he is now recused. I have literally just gone over the motion now, and I'm going to go over it with you myself bit by bit. Starting first with the finding of facts. We all know what the facts were. There was an ex parte, meaning one of the parties, that being all of the defense attorneys, were not present for this meeting with Kenneth Copeland. Judge Glanville, along with the prosecution and Kenneth Copeland's attorney, had this in-chambers meeting talking about him pleading the fifth for about let's say 4 pages. So about four or so pages, just the facts as we remember them. This meeting happened. Glanville went back and forth deciding, is this person going to testify? You cannot plead the fifth. The prosecution, as we saw the transcripts that were later released, kept pressing. You've got immunity. You cannot be prosecuted for this in any way, shape, or form. And that means you have to testify. Ultimately, that meeting was not expressed in detail to the defense until Brian Steele, the defense attorney for Young Thug, raised this issue. Following that, multiple defense attorneys filed motions for recusal as timely and supported by an affidavit of his own factual allegations mandating his recusal. What that basically means in English, he played both witness, judge, and jury and deciding the veracity and the truthfulness of his own allegations. A judge cannot do that. That's what the Honorable Judge Rachel Krause, who was given this case to decide the recusal, ultimately decides. They continue by saying that this court has no doubt that Judge Glanville can and would continue presiding fairly over this matter if the recusal motions were denied, but and going on to quote here, the necessity of preserving the public's confidence in the judicial system weighs in favor of excusing Judge Glanville from further handling of this case. And this is the decision. Based on the foregoing, this court hereby orders the following. 1. Defendant DeMonte Kendrick's motion for recusal of the Chief Judge Yerville is granted. 2. Caleb Bumpus' motion to quash the show cause order or for the recusal of Judge Glanville is denied as moot, meaning that it's no longer an issue, and that the defendant Jeffrey Williams' motion to disqualify or recuse Judge Glanville for all further dealings in the above referenced case as amended and supplemented is granted. The court clerk shall
I'm going to take the charge.
Reassign this case using the court's case assignment procedures. This is the order of the judge as of the 15th.
Oh my God, I was fucking muted. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I was saying that. So this is the lawyer that's taken over, or the judge that's taken over. Actually, her name is Judge Shakura L. Ingram. This is an African American woman, clearly. And Brian Steele did put out a statement, kind of like speaking about their win, because they won in the appeals court. It says Jeffrey Williams is innocent of the charges brought in this indictment, and to clear his name, he sought a speedy trial, one in which he would receive the constitutional guarantees of a fair trial with an impartial judge, presiding and ethical prosecutors following the law. Sadly, Judge Glanville and the prosecutors have run afoul with their duties under the law. Mr. Williams is grateful that the reviewing court agreed with him and entered the order recusing and disqualifying Judge Glanville from presiding over Mr. Williams' case. We look forward to proceeding with a trial judge who will fairly and faithfully follow the law. Wait, why is the sound off on this? Sorry, Joe. Oh, boy. Oh.
Had a muddy rattle.
No. The
4. That is today. What that basically means is Judge Glanville is no longer the judge in the Young Thug RICO case for any of the defendants. It will go back to the court clerks to reassign this case. This is the break.
Okay, once again, it's already been reassigned. It's reassigned to this woman. Now, I think that there is a lot of hope for Young Thug and his attorneys to raise causes of mistrial. And I think this judge, again, because their ego isn't involved, this is not necessarily their case they started out with, because it's kind of very difficult to ask a judge to recuse himself, because that's like almost admitting that you acknowledge that you've been fucking up and you're unfit to like be the, neutral arbiter of this type of situation, which who would want to admit that about themselves? So we get into like a situation like this, okay?
Breaking news coming out of the Young Thug case in Georgia. All right. Okay. All right. So now that you have that breaking.
All right, bet. Cool. Other news that kind of happened, and I don't know why I feel like tired. Is it because of liquor? What the fuck? I think it's because I woke up early to bring Pluto. Breaking news that kind of came down, which is a little odd, So, Lil Boosie had got out on social media, and he was just like, yo, if anybody know Lil Reese or his people, yo, he's getting locked up. He said this.
Hey, I'm at the hotel downtown. They just took Lil Reese to jail. He came out handcuffed. They had all his bags. So if anybody Lil Reese people, y'all need to check on him. They just took him to jail. Some dude came down, some woman lied on him or some shit. So any Lil Reese people, the Grim Reaper people, they just took him to jail downtown LA and put him in a coffin. Y'all need to tap in with y'all people.
Well, I guess he's raising awareness. Okay. Now, here's the thing. So we get to find out that Lil Reese was arrested for sexual assault. Okay. They're saying he's facing serious allegations. He's accused of sexual assault in Los Angeles, where police took him into custody. They're saying, according to law enforcement sources, he went on a date with a woman. That's already a red flag. Chirac niggas don't go out on dates, but okay, let's play along to the narrative. And following the date, he and the woman went back to a LA hotel. Okay, so they went on a date, go back to the hotel, where I guess the woman is claiming that Lil Reese insisted they had sex. The cops are saying the woman rebuffed his advances, basically said, nah, nigga, I ain't trying to fuck you. And before he allegedly forced himself onto her and sexually assaulted her. Okay. Now we're told the woman went straight down to the lobby and called the police around 3:30 a.m. So I don't know what time he got back to the hotel after dinner, but who knows? Maybe it was around midnight. Basically, it's a 3-hour window that supposedly something happened. So we're told officers promptly arrived and they arrested Reese on suspicion of sexual assault. And yeah. Now, again, we obviously don't know the particulars of this case, and I guess maybe this is a Cali thing, because here's the thing about this, right? You know, we don't know if there's a rape kit done. We don't know how much investigation was done. You're telling me that like an hour after this thing, you know, they arrest this guy with this super serious charge. And now the reality of it is this: like, niggas ain't gonna even pay attention to see if, oh, okay, nah, they dropped the charges, or nah, he beat the charges. Only thing people are gonna see is this. You know what I mean? I do know certain places they will exercise some type of caution to be like, yo, we're gonna fully investigate this. And by the way, I'm not trying to say that whoever the victim is or potential victim is, either lying or whatever the case is. But the headline for these type of things, we all know. The headline for this is like more powerful than the resolution, the truth. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of what's coming out. I guess they allowed him to get out on $100,000 bond. Lil Reese is having like a really, I've only heard bad things happen to Lil Reese for like a while now. Think about it. Lil Reese gets shot, right? Like by a bunch of niggas with Dracos, like on some highway. Some niggas catch him, they're beating him, supposedly shitting his pants. We seen him bloody again, where somebody was saying there was some stolen car or some other shit that was involved with that. Like, we're kind of seeing too many instances with Reese, and it's almost like he's having the best of times, which, you know, obviously I feel bad for him. But this right here is just one of those where it's like, oh my God, when it rains, it fucking pours. Now, I'm hoping he didn't do none of this. I'm hoping he's actually innocent. So if he's actually innocent, cool. But if he did do it, you know, shit, what could we say? But this was like really random. And I was just kind of trying to read it says she went on a date with him. She went back to his hotel, but she didn't want to fuck. And then basically like 2 or 3 hours later, she's downstairs telling them, call the cops, because you never know. Never know. Okay? All right. What do y'all think about that? Yeah, y'all right. We can't really say anything. Only thing I saw, and I'm just looking at, bro, headlines mean so fucking much, dog. Headlines mean so much that if this ain't true.
So Brian Steele, aka Young Thug's lawyer, got arrested in court. Man, I want to keep it a bean right quick. This whole case is just ratchet and ghetto, bro. Like, it's not much else I could say besides the whole case is just ratchet and ghetto. Your lawyer getting arrested, bro. Like, ain't gonna lie, bro. If my lawyer is getting arrested, do you feel like you're generally gonna beat the case? And then, even though Ack was talking about a mistrial and stuff, I generally feel like just how like with YNW Melly they called a mistrial and he was immediately charged back again. They're gonna do the same thing with Young Thug, and it's gonna drag out 1-2+ years over and over and over. I ain't gonna lie, it might be sad to say, unless Young Thug could get out on like Ack said, like a 10 or 15 years probation, which, you know how that probation stuff works. You go into 10-15 year probation, the way those guys live, 1-2 years max, they're failing it, and then they gotta go back and serve the remainder of their time. But I mean, they got a bunch of money and the best lawyers in the world, so they'll probably find a way to get through it, get prescriptions for all the drugs that they need, because most of them are drug addicts. You feel me? It's one thing I really want to say, bro. Gunna got out, he got fit as hell. Young Thug in there getting chunky. Like, before, Young Thug looked like he weighed 120 pounds soaking wet. Man, It is crazy. Like, it's crazy how times change. But if your lawyer is sitting there getting arrested, my dude, it's a problem. You feel me? I don't know if he did a good thing by saying what he said. And when I say that, I mean like giving the judge like hints that, oh, it was people in the private hearing who were saying stuff, which, you feel me, shouldn't be happening. But hey, we don't know, bro. I don't know. Now he has to spend 10 weeks every single weekend for the next like 10 weeks just locked up. And Brian still's gangster as hell too, because he said, "Lock me in there with my client." So he wants to be locked in there with what's his name, bro, with Thug. Like Act said, bro, this man Thug must be giving this man like millions of dollars, or I ain't gonna lie, these criminal lawyers, a lot of them, they're you feel me? They love this stuff. Like he probably Jenny, it's probably like a movie for him. Like this whole case and stuff, depending how it goes, YNW Melly's life could be a movie. They can make TK's life into a movie. They can make what's going on with Young Thug right now into a movie. 50 Cent could probably adapt and make all that stuff. They can make the King Von stuff a movie. Like, they really could just make movies about everybody, bro. For real, for real. But hey, man. Let me know how you guys feel about everything, bro. It's your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And free Thug. Do y'all think Thug is gonna come out, or he's locked up for good, man? Let me know in the comments below. It's your boy Big Act News, and I'm out.